When a man takes God for his guide, bet he can find himself in a strange country. I was plain John Church the carpenter, who never thought of riding a horse or killing a man, till my eyes were opened. But now so many new things are happening, I'm beginning to think I'm still half blind. The other night, I was on guard duty in a field just outside Saffron, looking after the horses. 500 or 600 we were responsible for, and it's no one's favourite job, especially in winter. But this was the first really warm night of spring, so we lit a fire for the company of it, and you could hear the horses rustling and champing around us. The night was so still. There was a trooper from Coggleshall, and a lad from up Grantham Way, and a Brentford man who was preaching and arguing with us, as we all do in this chatterbox of an army. I'll never forget that evening if I live to see Judgment Day.
You see, we all know we are free to worship God in our own way. That's what makes us independent.
That's the main thing I fought for.
Presbyterians one way, ours another.
But, you see, if we are all equal in the sight of God, I mean, free to choose the way we save our souls...
Which we are. At least I am.
What then?
Well, then, we must be free, as free, in the sight of man. We must be. You see, there can't be anything more important than eternal salvation, can there? Mm-hmm. And if God is prepared to leave that to our free choice, well, for sure, for certain, brothers, he means us to have a free choice in lesser things.
What lesser things?
The things of this world. To start with, what the fate of this army is to be.
Is God concerned with such things?
Well, how can he not be when he has called us into it and given us victory after victory? We have committed murder for his sake. If he asks us to do that, he is not concerned only with the state of our souls. We could have saved them without ever leaving home. He must be concerned with the state of England. This is the country he has chosen to be God's holy city. And if each man has a right to choose, then each man must have a say in what sort of holy city this is to be. We fought for our religious liberty and won it. Why not? For the liberty of our bodies as well as our souls.
What? So you mean they must listen to our petition?
Yes, the petition, but more than that. If we have a right to choose what kind of nation we are to live in, and God is arguing very plainly that we have, then we have a right to be consulted. Not just a right, a duty, to make our voices heard.
About what? Another petition?
About everything.
Everything?
Everything.
Oh, Bet, I'll never forget how that Brentford man spoke. I didn't know his name then, and I don't know it now. But we all looked at each other in the firelight, and it was as though we saw the holy city coming down out of the clouds.
1, 2, 3, 6. 0, 3, 3, 1.
Warning, 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 warning.
he today, Lady Anne?
The doctors give him all kinds of cordials and possets, and they bleed him regularly. He's very weak, but I think a little better.
God's mercy on him for a speedy recovery. He's so popular with the soldiers. He can do things none of the rest of us can do.
He's awake, but you mustn't stay long. Oh, be careful, the curtains are drawn and it's dark.
Tom?
Oliver.
You look a little better.
I am, much better. I'm almost beginning to enjoy lying here in the half-dark. How much time have we ever had to think?
None, for years.
I'm still weak in the legs and my back is painful, but I shall be up and doing soon.
Good.
So I must relish these last few moments of peace.
I've been thinking too.
And you've decided? You have a different look about you when you made up your mind. What then? That we should both go back to our estates and leave them to fight it out?
I've been very much tempted that way, but since the Lord called us to do this work, he cannot wish us to leave it half done. All the sins we have committed to attain his ends, and we know how many they have been, become mere sins if we cannot justify them with some worthwhile result.
We will answer for them one way or another.
Have you spoken to the king?
Yes.
So have I. What do you think?
I think he's devious, difficult, and perhaps dishonest, but he is my sovereign. If we offer him the right sort of settlement, he will surely see where his own best interest lies.
Yes, I think the same. If the Commons vote to disband the army, we must disband it. The alternative is too frightening to contemplate.
I suppose we carry out their orders and the army disobeys them.
We must use what influence we have to persuade the Parliament to listen to what the soldiers are saying.
How on earth can we do that?
By taking our time, holding the ring till there is an opportunity for tempers to cool. I need your help to do that. I have some influence in the House.
And in the army, too.
Not as much as yours. Between the two of us, if we are patient, we should do the trick.
It will take great patience, and a long time.
Which we may not have. I shall ride back to Saffron Walden tomorrow morning. Parliament has instructed Skippon to suppress the petition, and he is to meet with the officers. Now, Philip is a good old soldier, but that task is beyond him.
It may be beyond all of us.
God have mercy on us if it is.
Corporal, I must speak.
Mr. Denzil Hollis, the member for Dorchester.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to draw the House's attention once again to the question of the disbanding of the army. It has been asserted outside these walls, by those who should know better, that there is some hidden and malicious motive in our plans for military reorganization. Nothing, Mr. Speaker, could be further from the truth or from our own honesty. If we need a powerful force in Ireland, and we are in no doubt that we do, that force cannot remain undivided in England. Nor can we afford to support two forces of equal strength, one in Dublin and the other in East Anglia.
Mr. Speaker!
Colonel Harley, you are out of order.
With your indulgence, Mr. Speaker, Colonel Rossiter and I have just been handed letters from trusted members of our own regiment at Army Headquarters, which contain information of serious concernment to this House. Not only have this House's instructions with regard to the suppressing of the soldiers' petition been ignored, now we are told there is an organised subscription campaign, and it is being led by some of the most high-ranking officers of the army.
Mr. Speaker, no less a man than Commissary General Ireton is personally organising a drive for signatures.
My second-in-command, Major Pride, is threatening to cashier any soldier who refuses to sign his name. Mr. Speaker, this is nothing short of an outrage!
Order! Mr. Holly.
Mr. Speaker, the House is justly angered at this news, and I propose that we take determined and immediate action. I propose that all the officers named in these letters be called before the bar of the House to answer for their actions.
Order! Order!
that Major General Skippon, whom we know to be reliable, should be dispatched to Saffron Walden at once with firm orders to put an end to all petitioning. And further, that we publish a public declaration of our high dislike of that petition or any other originating from the army.
Order! Order!
And that all those who continue in their distempered condition shall be looked upon as enemies of the state and disturbers of the public peace.
Gentlemen, my orders were quite plain. Major General Skippon, they said you must go down to Saffron Walden and put an end to the army petition. And see that there are no more petitions from anyone, soldiers or officers. I was brought up in the Dutch wars, where I learned that for a soldier an order is an order and never to be questioned. But this morning, Lieutenant General Cromwell and Commissary General Ireton have ridden in to join us, and I've no doubt they will bring the latest information from the House of Commons, which we will all be eager to hear. But before that, we have a matter of discipline to attend to, a court of war in the case of Captain White of the Lord General's Regiment of Foot, arrested and accused by the order of his acting commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Jackson. Are Colonel Jackson and Major Goodday here? I don't see him.
With your permission, Major General, I am Captain Musket of the Lord General's Regiment, and I have been deputed to speak against Captain White.
Where are the Lieutenant Colonel and the Major as senior officers? They are supposed to present the case.
They are not here, sir.
Not here?
They both had orders to leave and rejoin their regiment at Chelmsford, sir, very early this morning.
Orders? Who from?
They didn't tell me, sir, but they gave me their full authority to prosecute the case against Captain White.
This is most improper. All right, Captain Musket, we will hear what you have to say.
Thank you, Major General Skippon, Lieutenant General Cromwell. The charge is in essence very simple. Lieutenant Colonel Jackson, as commanding officer, accuses Captain White of encouraging sedition and treason in the ranks. Firstly, by urging the soldiers of his regiment not to sign for Ireland, and then by receiving them in his lodging with a petition of their grievances, which he offered to present and subsequently tried to present to the Lieutenant Colonel and Major Goodday. All these actions are against the express orders of the Parliament and Lieutenant Colonel Jackson, their servant-in-arms, and Captain White's superior officer. The Lieutenant Colonel urges that Captain White be cashiered from the army with ignominy. And since Parliament has specifically decreed that such officers must answer for their actions at the bar of the House, that he be marched under guard to London, to be handed over to the House, who will proceed against him for treason.
Sit down, Captain White.
Sir, this is a conspiracy against my life. More than that, it's a conspiracy against the whole army.
Don't hear him, sir. The conspiracy is all on their side. There is a small group of dissidents and heretics who are determined to betray and destroy this army. But let me say, sir, that there are plenty of us here, and in London too, who are equally determined to prevent them.
These men are the destroyers, Sir Jackson and Musket, and Colonel Sheffield, Colonel Massey, Colonel...
Sit down, Captain White! Gentlemen! Please! Gentlemen, calm yourselves. The Lieutenant General wishes to speak.
It had been my intention to listen in quietness and humility, but I see such a spirit of arrogance and self-love growing among us that I must speak. And I pray to the Lord in all earnestness that I may never again have to sit in such a disordered assembly. So let me tell you at first that the case against Captain White falls. His accusers are not here, nor has any evidence been presented. Nor can a senior officer depute a captain to bring a case as serious as this against a brother officer. Captain White retains his rank, and we will ourselves investigate his actions when we find out why. Now, let me tell you further the motive for my joining you this morning. There are to be no more parliamentary commissions. Skippen, Ireton and myself, your proven good friends, are to act in their place, and we are prepared to listen just as honestly as we are prepared to speak. So, first of all, I wish to ask this assembly of officers to prepare a full list of all the Army's grievances.
With respect, Lieutenant General, that isn't enough.
What do you mean? Identify yourself, sir.
James Thompson, Cornet of Horse, Graves Regiment. What I mean, sir, is that it is no longer enough for the officers' voices to be heard. While you've been in London, more than half the regiments have chosen agitators, and there have been many discussions between all ranks of officers and men. So, now the soldiers must be heard too.
You mean the common troopers?
Yes, sir.
I've never heard of such a thing, in any army in ancient or modern history.
Excuse me, gentlemen. Sit down, Captain White. I've just been handed a message from London, sir, which concerns all of us.
What message?
Parliament has sent commissioners to disband the Lord General's regiment at Chelmsford on May the 29th. That's 4 days' time. And now you know, sir, why Colonel Jackson and Major Goodey aren't here. And why my regiment was marched away from all the rest of you.
Philip, dismiss the meeting.
Dismiss?
Yes, now.
Oliver, did you know about this?
No, Henry, I did not.
Gentlemen. Lieutenant General Cromwell, John Lilburn's wife is here to see you.
Come in, Mrs. Lilburn, come in. You are very welcome in my house at any time, and especially so in such disturbing days as these are.
Thank you, Lieutenant General.
Thank you, officer. Wait in my outer chamber in case I need you again.
Yes, sir.
My dear madam, we speak as old acquaintances. I hope I may say friends. How is your husband?
Your kindness to both of us has been long continuing, sir. My husband is in as good health as the tower permits, and he sends you by me a most urgent letter.
You know my young friend, Captain John Reynolds, I'm sure.
He's a good friend of ours, too. My husband respects him particularly for his honesty in the cause.
As we all do, no less.
Here's the letter, sir.
Oh, you must take good care, madam, how you smuggle your letters out of the tower. Or like poor Major Tooleder, you will find yourself in prison for it.
Major Tooleder has been released this morning.
Cromwell speaks, madam, and the business is done.
Not at all.
It is my hope that he can accomplish my husband's release as quickly.
You overestimate what one poor servant of the Lord can do. I spoke to them at the house about Tooleder, whose fault was impetuous and not of a serious nature. I've made certain assurances, which the house has agreed to accept, that's all. Your husband's case is more difficult.
But just! I will go anywhere and speak to anyone for his sake. So should you, too, when he speaks for England's liberty so honestly.
Madam, I honour you more than any woman I know. This paragon of a wife, John, walked to Oxford when her husband was imprisoned there by the Royalists, pregnant though she was. She carried offers from the Parliament which undoubtedly saved his life. She's won many victories for the Lord, and her voice must be heard.
Your kindness to me is unceasing, sir, and I hope it will continue till my husband has his liberty.
I shall do my best, madam, you may be sure of that. If you would give me leisure to read your husband's letter, I shall speak to you again before you leave. In the meantime, refresh yourself with cordials or meat and beer, or whatever you require. John, show Mrs. Lilburn through to my wife in the next chamber.
Certainly, sir.
My thanks to you, sir.
I'm your servant, madam, in every way I can be. Oh, dear Lord, what sin have I committed that you test me so severely?
A remarkable woman.
This country breeds remarkable women, but I know of none more completely admirable than her.
Am I permitted to hear what freeborn John has to say?
Why do you call him that?
Well, he grants himself the honour in his pamphlets, and all the Londoners shout it in the streets.
There's more than one of us who could bear that title. He hasn't the monopoly.
No.
He writes to me with a kind of desperation. Cromwell, you are led by the nose by the unworthy earthworms of the Commons. If the army disbands before their grievances are granted, I, and all such as I am, must lay the whole blame on you, and declare that the Commons bribes Cromwell to betray the liberties of England into their tyrannical fingers. This from the same man who appeals in the very next breath to our lifelong friendship.
He has just cause for complaint.
Just cause? Of course he has. Just cause to fear for the nation's liberty at Parliament's hands, too.
Then why is he imprisoned?
He is imprisoned, John, because this is not yet the kingdom of heaven, only the imperfect kingdom of earth. If justice were always rewarded and the right invariably prevailed, we could sound the trumpet for judgment because the business would be finished here. The Lord has appeared most marvellously for us in these last years, but he does not always make his meaning plain. And on many occasions the choice is not between good and evil, but between good and an alternative good, or evil and an alternative evil. I don't want these responsibilities. I hate them with my heart, and would rather retire to Huntington with my wife and daughters than anything else on this earth. But the Lord has laid certain duties upon me, which he is determined I should not avoid. Lilburn stands up like a brave man and asserts much of the right of things, but not always with the wisdom a Christian requires in a fallen world. Those of us who seek God's peace in this ravaged country must tread more circumspectly.
Will you answer the letter?
I'll answer it, yes.
What will you say?
That I'm concerned for him and will do whatever I can. Nothing else is possible at this time.
May I ask you a question?
What question?
From one who respects and admires you and would follow you to the ends of the earth.
You prepare your ground carefully.
What assurances did you give to the House to gain Tulida's release?
That I cannot answer. The conversations were private.
There are all kinds of rumours at Saffron Walden.
What rumours?
That you have promised the House the army will disband without any trouble.
That I have promised? Of course I have promised. I promised to serve the Parliament when I accepted my commission. So did we all. Under God, we serve the Parliament. It was for that cause we took up arms. They have ordered us, as their senior officers, to disband the army. What else can we do?
But if their orders are unwise or unjust...
Who are we to judge? We overturned the king and set up the Parliament in his place because we claimed the liberty to choose our masters. We have chosen, and now we must stand by our choice or become quite masterless. And it takes no great powers of prophecy to see what that would mean. The anarchy that would ensue. And in anarchy, the only power is the power of the sword, the thing we must avoid at all costs. Cromwell has agreed to disband. Indeed, of course he has. What else should he do?
As your friend, I must tell you that there is very great anger among the soldiers.
Shall I take you into my bosom, John? Show you my secret heart?
I should regard that as a great honour.
Well, why not? It may be that I shall lay down this burden for good soon. Not many days from now.
What does that mean?
That I shall leave England. I've already spoken to the London agents of the Massachusetts Bay Company. There is land for everyone in America, and a man may worship God as he pleases. I may take ship within the month.
You can't take the whole army with you.
Well, I wouldn't want to. Let some other man do the Lord's business. I'm nearly 50 years old. I've done my share. I would like to live my last years in privacy and peace.
Mrs. Lilburn is in the next room waiting for your answer.
There is always someone in the next room waiting for my answer. But I have no answers. I don't know what to do more than any other man. Isn't it more honest to admit that? Take ship for America and let some better man answer the question.
If there is a better man.
Mum? Edmund!
Sorry to leave you sitting there, Francis.
Mum? Edmund!
Sorry to leave you sitting there, Francis. I'm that busy at the
Where
minute.
is Father?
Well, he's still in his study.
Does he know I'm here?
Told him myself a quarter of an hour ago.
I must be back at Saffron by the end of the afternoon. I shall have to leave within 2 hours.
You know him by now, Francis.
You look exhausted.
Well, I've been up all night. We're in the middle of lambing.
Do you know anything about this Reynolds business?
Well, not beyond the bare facts. He never tells me what's in his mind. He never tells anybody.
Pen does know.
Oh, yeah, she knows. Didn't tell her at first. About a week later.
This is intolerable, to be kept waiting like a schoolboy. Mum, tell them to prepare some meat and beer for me before I ride back. I'll eat it in the kitchen.
You'll need a fresh horse. I'll see to that.
Well, I've had enough of this nonsense. I'm going in to see him now.
You'll get nothing from him that way.
Father, I have ridden all the way from Saffron Walden this morning to see you, and I can't wait any longer.
Did I ask you to come in? Get out!
I am a commissioned officer in the Parliamentary Army, and I won't be spoken to like a child, not even by my own father. I have to be back at headquarters by the end of the day, and I must speak with you now.
Have you finished?
No, I've barely begun. What is the meaning of your insults to Captain Reynolds? A man of infinitely superior family to our own, a man of the most exceptional qualities of courage and intellect, and my very good friend of many years' standing.
You are interrupting my studies, barging in here uninvited like the swaggering captain you are. What do I care about your bluster and noise? This is my house, and I will invite here whom I please. I do not choose to invite Captain Reynolds, however superior his family. Now, sir, I am engaged upon the most complicated calculations concerning the planet Mars, and I would be very glad if you would leave me to...
Don is my friend, and very likely my sister's husband. We both have a right to know why you choose to behave in this boorish fashion.
You have no rights in the matter. I have my own opinion about the man, and I choose to express it by asking him not to visit my house, that's
Your
all.
own opinion? What does that mean? The man's reputation is spotless. He's a committed, brave, Christian soldier, one whom everyone knows is likely to rise to the very top in whatever course of life he chooses.
Captain or not, Francis, you speak like an inexperienced boy who sees only what the world sees, and judges men by the colour of their clothes or the quality of their boot leather. When you are a little older and a little less blinded by the glories of the world, you will see a little more clearly. I do not like Captain Reynolds, and I have good reason for my dislike. That is enough.
What good reason?
Very well, sir. I am under no obligation to tell you, but since you are so high about the matter, I will. I took the precaution, when Captain Reynolds intimated to me that he wished to approach my daughter, of asking the date, place, and time of his birth. From that information, I have cast the star chart of his nativity. What I have seen there indicates to me that he is not a fit match for my daughter, nor a friend for my son either.
Are you telling me that my friend has to thank magicians and astrologers for the insults you heaped upon him?
The calculations are entirely my own.
I am ashamed of you. You call yourself a scholar, a natural philosopher, a man of science, and yet you dabble in this pond of Egyptian necromancy, shameful, and in the Christian, damnable.
You talk like the ignoramus you are. The study of astrology is part and parcel of the study of the world and the heavens which contain and surround it. Only a fool would deny that the gigantic framework of the stars has an influence on the life of man. To anyone who thinks beyond his nose end, the matter is obvious. You think no further than your army chaplains allow you to think, but my mind is my own, and it follows truth to whatever hidden sanctuary it chooses to inhabit. Your friend's chart of nativity has Mars in Aquarius and other unfortunate confluences and conjunctions. That alone makes him unsuitable as my daughter's husband.
What's it mean, Mars in Aquarius?
It means death by water.
What nonsense. When?
In youth. If my daughter marries him, she will wear black before she is 30.
I place no faith in astrologers. The word of God is good enough for me.
And when does God say he will die?
When it pleases him. We are soldiers. We hold our lives on a thread no longer than a single day, and have done for years. You can't frighten us with bugs and bogies of that kind.
If you are wise, my son, you will keep away from him.
Why, have you been casting my star chart too?
Of course, many years ago.
Oh, why didn't you tell me? What does it contain?
Death by water.
Corporal, what's all that noise? I'm trying to write some letters.
There's 8 or 9 fellas down here, Captain White, insisting they must see you.
Who are they? What do they want?
Well, there's our own lads, Captain, from the Lord General's foot, and there's Vaughan and Yeoman and Mole and Newton and 4 or 5 others. They're all good, reliable fellas.
Why do they want to see me?
Captain, give us just 5 minutes of your time, sir. They'll have to come in, sir.
Very well, then.
Come on, you've been with us a long time, Captain White. We trust you, sir.
Come in, lads, come in. Now, what's the trouble?
It's getting desperate situation, sir.
We're in danger now, sir. Real danger.
Talk about the army, sir. There won't be no army in a few days' time.
No, well, we won't be in it, that's for sure.
Now, lads, listen. Look, one at a time, or nothing can be done.
Right,
Benjamin Yeoman, you speak for the rest.
Is that agreed? They'll all butt in if I say less than it should be, you know. It's not far short of another press gang, sir. We're being dragooned or pinned up like a flock of sheep.
It's true.
Look, Private Yeoman, if you can start at the beginning.
Well, to start with, our petition has been completely ignored.
And to go on with, the officers
officers are lying when they say we all agreed to sign on for Ireland with no questions asked. Lieutenant Colonel Jackson and Major Goodey have said they'll accept whatever the Parliament says and lead us to Ireland with no pay, no indemnity bill, no nothing.
No legal rights, nothing settled at all.
And we won't, sir. We'll leave the army first.
I know all these arguments as well as you do. What do you want me to do?
Well, sir, nearly all the officers in this regiment are against us, apart from Jackson and Goody. There's Captain Boyce and Musket and Highfield and Bland and Wolf.
They're all hard-faced Presbyterians, sir, the lot of them, and they won't listen to one word of what we
There's
say.
only Captains Audley, Lee and yourself who will ever listen to us, let alone think as we do, so we've come to you here to ask you to speak for us.
What, to Fairfax?
Yes, you see, sir, they say that 6 regiments have already volunteered for Ireland. It's a lie, sir. Even Goodey's own company, he's only 45 less than
and in
us.
most other companies, hardly any, sir.
What we say, sir, is if the officers don't agree with the men, and there's more men than officers, then it's the officers should be cashed in.
All right, lads, calm yourself.
It's not so easy to keep calm, Captain. Our lives might be at stake.
We're all used to that one way or another.
From our enemies, not our friends.
We don't want you to speak to Fairfax about how calm we are, Captain. We want you to tell him we're angry.
I shall certainly do that. And I shall do it with good heart, because I share your anger. Now, good lads, you must leave me, and I'll write to Fairfax at once.
Fairfax is in London. He's miles away.
Jackson and Goodey, what's causing all the trouble?
Fairfax probably doesn't even know.
Very well, I shall ask to speak to Lieutenant Colonel Jackson, and report what you say and what we all feel as faithfully as I can. And now, good lads, you must leave me to my business. Take them out now, Corporal.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We're greatly admired for you.
We place all our trust in you, Captain White.
Right, old there, you go now. Come on, you always with a noisy lot in this red.
You should be with us too, Corporal. Now, it affects you as much as anyone.
I know that, Private Yeoman. Not stupid, am I?
John, did you hear all that?
Yes, every word. Will you speak for them?
Of course I will. It's outrageous of Jackson and Goodey to treat them as mercenaries. We've never been that sort of army. But it's to be expected of Jackson. A man's a puppet. Chaplain Edwards stands behind him pulling the strings.
Yes, the men in my regiment feel the same, but I can't afford to appear as publicly for them as you can.
Why not?
Well, not against Cromwell. My closeness to him is too valuable to us to be put at risk.
Yes, of course. I mean, Fairfax respects
Yes,
me
but
too.
he's never had favourites. The fact is, we must both make use of the opportunities we have, so don't expect to see me carrying the flag with you at the front of the column. I shall be bringing up the artillery at the rear.
Well, I shall speak out as loudly as I can. Those lads stand for everything we fought for, and I won't see it thrown away.
Neither will I.
I was trying to compose a letter before the interruption.
Yes, well, our whole life in these days is a series of interruptions.
To pen.
We should be leading the life of young gentlemen, studying, going abroad, tending our estates.
What am I going to say to you?
Well, say what you like, my dear fellow. Who am I to come between brother and sister?
Just the man, so I've been led to believe. It's about you I'm writing.
Ah.
I hate to press you, Jack, but I really must have some idea of what you intend.
Well, Francis, you know the situation as well as I do.
I must say you're quite unlike any lovers I've ever met before. Hardly pastoral, is it? Are you serious when you talk of marrying her?
What's this? Are you defending your sister's virtue?
Don't laugh, Jack. All this has been brought to head by my father's stupidity, but now it must be made clear.
Shall I tell you the truth?
I hope so.
I love her twice as much as I did before. She is my passion and my obsession. She's always been fascinating. But now she has the added attraction of the unattainable. I love her not only for her own sake, but because, like the Sultan's daughter, I must risk my neck to get even a sight of her.
How can I take you seriously when you speak like that?
What? Can a man not make a joke when he's in love? Whenever else will he laugh at times like these, unless he gets drunk, and that's a hanging offence too.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
Well, at the moment, I haven't an idea. I hoped I could rely on your help.
My dear fellow, of course you can. I just need to be sure I can trust you.
We shall have to borrow a proverb from the Turks. If Muhammad can't go to the mountain will have to come to Muhammad. Can you arrange a meeting?
I don't know. When?
I don't know either. Whenever we both know where the other will be at the same time.
Are you surprised I can't take you seriously?
What do you mean? As your father says, laughter is a sign of the philosophic mind. Never trust a gloomy face. It's a sure sign of an empty head.
Do you expect me to put that in my letter?
But what do you like, old friend? She's your sister.
Well, before anything, I must speak to my respected commander, Lieutenant Colonel Jackson.
You must speak to him with even greater tact than you speak to her.
They're my soldiers, and I must stand by them.
What a crowd, 500 or 600.
There'll be thousands in all the regiments in Saffron Walden.
No, they've only called out 4 regiments at a time. There'll be other meetings.
Who's they? That's what I want to know.
Who's the fella climbing up under the baggage car?
We've had enough praying. Now it's time for the things of this world, so listen.
I don't know him. But that's your brother with him, innit?
Well, I know
Not many of you know me, except my mates in Cromwell's horse. And you don't need to know much. I'm a private trooper like most of you. I joined Cromwell's regiment at the beginning, and I've ridden with him all the way through. Marston Moor, Naseby, wherever the old nose was galloping, I was riding just behind him. And my name, for what it's worth, is Edward Sexby. Now, we've called you out into this field, me and a few others, because we think it's about time something was done. We've all signed a petition, hardly a man in the army who hasn't. And what's happened? Well, you tell me. That's right, nothing. No, I'm forgetting. There was something. There was Parliament's declaration, insulting us to our faces as if we were rubbish and fit for nothing better. Us, who won them their freedom to make declarations with their heart's blood. So we gave our petition to Fairfax like good, well-behaved boys, and they're at rest. And he's gone to London and gone to bed. But we won't let it rest there. Or, if you want to let it rest, then so be it. We'll all go back to our lodging. Yes, you are angry, and we are angry too. So we've called you all here because we want you to elect 2 men from each regiment to agitate this business for us. Plain soldiers who know what it's like to carry a pike or a pistol and never get paid. These agitators will take the petition up to Westminster and make them read it. Otherwise we'll sit here with nothing done till we're all disbanded, unpaid, and a good many of us hanged. What do you say, brothers? Is it agreed? Then go away from here and choose reliable men as your agitators, so that by tomorrow evening, every regiment in the army at Saffron will be represented. And we'll all meet together to plan when and how to take the petition up to London.
What about the Presbyterians and the Irish Volunteers?
What about them, brother? There's fools in every army.
No, but where are they? They've all gone, haven't they? Or a good many of them.
I don't know, brother, and I don't much care.
No, listen to him, Edward. What do you mean, soldier?
I mean, Cornet Thompson, but I've heard from a soldier who rode in from Romford that all the ones who've left, together with all the discharged soldiers and royalists, they've all gathered together in London, and they're marching on us at this very moment to take us unaware.
Have you heard that, Corporal Perkins? I haven't.
No, neither have I.
Would they creep up on us like that?
Surely not.
They're our brothers. They fought with us for years.
Brothers, listen! That trooper speaks good sense, and he's not the first to warn us of an army being sent against us.
We'll mount a guard. We'll tell such of our regimental commanders as are in Saffron what we've heard, and if they won't give the orders, we'll do it ourselves. Then in the morning we'll soon find out if there's any truth in the rumours. So break yourselves into your regiments, choose your agitators, and let them decide who stands guard.
James!
Halt, who goes there?
Friend, Corporal Church, Graves Regiment.
Approach, friend.
Good morning, trooper. I'm ordered by the lads in our regiment to walk the town from guard to guard to see all's well. How are things down here by the stream?
Quite still.
Well, a bit of a panic for nothing, eh? Do you think our old comrades were about to attack us?
No.
No, neither do I. Where do these rumours come from? Better be careful, though.
Yes.
Do I know you?
No.
Oh, yes, I do, though. Not your name. The Silent Soldier. That's what they call you.
Do they?
Well, just the boys in my troop, a good-hearted bunch of lads. If you prefer your own company, why not? Where'd you come from?
The north. But I've lived in London for many years.
Older than most of us?
37.
Ooh, time your soldier days were done, eh? What did you do before?
I was a gentleman by birth, cloth merchant by profession. Before I joined the army.
When was that?
44.
Oh, well, a youngster then. Looking forward to going back?
Nothing to go back to.
Oh, well. I'm a carpenter. I can't wait to get back to my workshop in Southwark. Get those tools in my hand, with my brother, my father, my old granddad. He was a master carver when his eyes was a bit better. He's gradually teaching me the art of it. I've had enough soldiering. I miss my wife, my 2 boys. Are you married?
No.
A solitary man?
Yes.
Why is that? There's plenty of comradeship in the army.
Sons of Esau. Men of flesh.
What?
Esau became lord of the world, a prince of the flesh, by robbing a mild and loving man, his brother Jacob. And we are all sons of Esau. Jacob sits alone in the corner, in tears.
Well, soldier, I don't know that I understand that.
You need not. When a man's in hell, he's best left alone.
I hope you are not in hell, brother.
We carry paradise within us, but all around. The fire.
Well, God bless you, brother. Keep a sharp guard.
Good night.
Good morning, you mean? It's nearly dawn. Any minute now, you'll hear the birds.
Not yet. Not for a long time yet.
Lieutenant Colonel Jackson and Major Gooday will see you now.
Thank you, Captain Musket.
Come in, Captain White.
Good evening, Lieutenant Colonel. Major, it's good of you to see me so promptly.
See you, Captain. You must be under some misapprehension. I sent your brother, Officer Captain Musket, to fetch you.
Yes, sir, but I thought...
You've been sent for to answer for your behaviour, Captain.
To answer?
You have been acting in direct defiance of the Parliament's orders.
Sir, I insist...
Listen to me, Captain. You've been going amongst the soldiers, encouraging their petition, an action which has been specifically forbidden by order of Parliament and is subject to the severest penalties.
What Major Gooday says is plain truth, Captain, and you dare not deny it.
No, sir, I don't deny it.
There.
What I do deny is that there is any order from the Lord General which forbids me to speak to my men or represent their interest to my senior officers.
There is a parliamentary order, sir.
The Lord General gives the orders in this army, sir, not the Parliament.
You are speaking treason, Captain White. Men have been hanged for less.
Sir, I was not aware that I was to be interrogated like this. I asked to see you on behalf of the men who are full of anger at the lies you have been telling about them, swearing to certain gentlemen in London that they are prepared to do what they are not prepared to do.
Control yourself, Captain.
The soldiers have drawn up a list of grievances which they brought to me and which, as a responsible officer, I now present to you.
You can put your papers away, Captain. We've all the proof we need from your own mouth.
Proof of what?
You are under arrest, sir, and suspended from your command till you be called to answer charges which will come near your life if you continue in this vein.
Sir, will you hear me speak?
No, Captain, I will not. And if you do not moderate yourself, I am quite prepared to call half a dozen troopers in here to silence you. Consider yourself under arrest, sir, from this moment. Because you are a gentleman, you will not be imprisoned, but I shall commit you at once to the discipline of the Provost Marshal of the Army. Your command is suspended. You must report to the Marshal immediately, under Captain Musket's guard. And then, as often as the Marshal will command you. Do you understand?
Sir, this is an outrage to justice. And at a time when we may all be in great danger of a surprise attack from London, it seems...
You are the only one in great danger, Captain White. And I suggest you learn to keep your mouth shut before it becomes even greater. You are no longer an officer in this army. You must be content to pray to God that he will see fit to spare your life.
I merely asked him one day last week what he thought of Captain Reynolds. He told me, like a kind of afterthought, that he had forbidden him the house, and that on no account was I to marry him. I really think that if I hadn't asked, he wouldn't have told me.
He didn't tell you why?
No, he didn't.
Superstitious nonsense.
I think I know why.
What?
He poses as a scientist and a natural philosopher, and indeed he is one in his dilettante way. But every important decision with our father always comes from his instinct. He's like a bird, who knows when a storm's coming. I don't know what he has seen in John, but it's something he doesn't like. Whatever other reasons he may give, I'm sure that's the real one.
Do you see it, too? Something you don't like?
I see a self-centred man, an egotistic man, but all men are like that, our father not least. If women chose not to marry for that reason, the race would very soon come to an end.
Do you love him?
How can I tell? I see him so rarely. He is an exciting man, an intelligent man. I could never love a man who was not my intellectual equal.
Your arrogance pen almost surpasses father's.
I don't think I would die of boredom in his company. I look forward to his visits and wish he came more often. Is that love?
Many women, I'm sure, marry for less. And what now that he's forbidden the house?
What do you mean?
It'll be difficult for him to see you at all.
You're such an enigmatic woman. You keep so much of yourself to yourself.
You mean, will it be worth him taking all that trouble?
I didn't say that.
But that's what you mean. He must take the trouble. Then he will find out if it is worth the effort.
He's an important man, Pen, at the very centre of affairs.
All men are important in their own eyes. I shall hope to see him again soon. My pleasures are not so many or so various that I can afford to lose those he provides.
I shall tell him that. There's a letter for you.
From him?
I don't know what it contains.
Shh.